news is the rating has come out for this game that Shedeur Sanders made his debut in. And some people were like, it was 3 times higher for the Hall of Nielsen, the Sporting News on X. 2.2 million people tuned in to see Sanders play for the Browns against the Carolina Panthers last week. All right. Now, a couple of other things to note. The Hall of Fame game.
Major performance today.
I would say a C+.
C+. Why?
Yeah. It's passing. It's passing because we got the win. You know, that's first and foremost, and that's extremely important. But, you know, Pop said, you know, take advantage of the opportunity, and I don't feel like I did. So, you know, I feel like I let him down a little bit. But on the team behalf, I feel like I ran the offense pretty well. I feel like I got to my decisions, and in some things I could have done better, and different process where I could speed my feet up. So, you know, I'm just thankful for the opportunity. I'm happy, you know, we won. Yeah. But it's definitely still time to go to work.
The NFL didn't just get surprised this week. It got shaken awake by something nobody had on their radar. Not the analysts, not the scouts, not the loud experts who swore they had the draft mastered. Shedeur Sanders didn't simply show up for his first preseason game. He stormed in like he owned every inch of that field and flipped the script on the same league that let him slide all the way to pick 144. 2.2 million viewers? Yes, 2.2 million.
Available in 51.1 million homes. So that's where you're seeing the big ratings difference. I mean, one's available in 70 million more homes, damn near it. All right. So, yeah, that's going to make a massive difference. If this game would have been on NBC, Fox, ABC, and I'm talking about Shedeur's debut, and had they had it to do over, they probably would have gotten it on there. I mean, if they realized it was going to draw that kind of a rating on NFL Network, I mean...
That isn't normal preseason traffic. That's #1 across TV for the entire night, beating out shows with huge budgets and superstar casts. And this wasn't a holiday. It wasn't primetime. It wasn't a hyped rivalry game. It was a random Friday in August when most people are relaxing at a bar or deep in a Netflix habit, but instead millions locked in because suddenly everyone needed to see this rookie they've been told to ignore. And the wildest part? Shedeur wasn't even expected to play. He was sitting 4th string, hidden on the depth chart like a spare part, barely getting leftover reps while coaches treated him like another name added to the roster just to fill the room. He was supposed to be invisible out there. Then the universe flipped the table. Injuries hit Kenny Pickett and Dylan Gabriel, and just like that, Shedeur got pushed straight into the fire against Carolina's first-team defense, a group full of veterans who were looking to test him instantly. Instead of panicking, he walked in with that calm, ice-cold confidence like he'd been waiting years for this exact moment. Most rookies thrown into that spotlight would have tightened up fast. Most fifth-rounders would have been thinking, just please let me get out of here without looking shaky. But Shedeur Sanders isn't built like typical rookies, and Friday night proved it with volume. He stepped onto that field and instantly changed the entire conversation, not just around Cleveland, but around every team that let him slide past them in the draft.
Coming when he was better than expected, the bar was very low, 14 of 23, which is 60%, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, 106.8 passer rating. But it's what, and I agree with this here, I agree, it's what he showed beyond the statistics, showed himself that he's a leader, but I think people pretty much knew that. I do. I think they pretty much knew that he was a big-time leader, was a personality, wasn't afraid of moments. That, and being calm under pressure, he showed that he was.
How do teams watch that performance and feel comfortable afterward? How do they look at pick 144 and say, yeah, that was the right call, when he showed that kind of poise and talent? Sports media couldn't stop talking about the numbers either. Preseason games usually dip under 2 million viewers, and NFL Network's average sits around 1.89 million. But once Shedeur touched the field, those ratings jumped fast like everyone had been waiting just to see him. NFL Network, Ohio stations, streaming platforms, Buffs fans, every corner of the football world tuned in at the same time like it was a marquee matchup. It felt unreal for a preseason game. If you're enjoying this, go ahead and subscribe. But let's break down why this turned into must-see TV. This was Shedeur's first real taste of action without Coach Prime on the sideline. And now he's fighting for his spot in Cleveland.
What you wanted to see. I want to see, could he play with poise? Could he throw the ball with conviction? Could he be decisive? Could he go through his progressions? The pocket collapses. Could he take off? He showed me some of everything. the over route. Threw it on timing. Guy in his face, led him, boom, dropped it right in the bucket. He fit those balls, pressure in his face, the second touchdown. Pressure in his face, the first touchdown. The corner slumps off, the flat. The safety is hugging him. He fits it in. Gets it in. Boom. On the move, the touch pass over the top. As I mentioned at the top, the receiver did make a great play. But Shedeur had a nice lock. That's not an easy throw to make. He was impressive tonight.
A team collecting quarterbacks like they're stacking them the way Jennifer Lopez stacks engagement rings. That Sanders name on a Browns jersey had people curious long before kickoff. Reporters felt it too. Headlines were calling this the most anticipated preseason game of the year before a single snap happened. Then Shedeur finally stepped onto the field and stayed cool through all that preseason madness like he'd been doing it for years. He wrapped up the night going 14 of 23, dropping 2 touchdowns, adding almost 20 yards with his legs, and walking away with a clean 106.8 passer rating. That's a stat line that would have fans celebrating if it happened in the regular season. Seeing it in August only made it feel more explosive. Meanwhile, the viewership kept climbing, turning the Browns quarterback battle into a headline people suddenly cared about. And honestly, the Browns being interesting at all is rare, so the fact Shedeur made that happen in one night says everything. Nobody's pulled this kind of spark since Jim Brown, and not even Drew Carey ever lit up Cleveland like this. Fans had every reason to tune in because this wasn't just another debut. This could be the future face of their entire franchise stepping into the spotlight. And the audience wasn't only coming from Ohio either. Buffs fans, casual college fans, and even people who normally ignore preseason football pulled up to NFL Network for one night like it was a big-time event. It's rare for a single player to create that kind of buzz in August, but Shedeur's debut felt like a crossover moment real football fans could sense instantly. It was college game electricity colliding with NFL pressure, all wrapped inside the one question everyone kept whispering.
Has the experience and is actual competent quarterback.
Can a Shedeur-led offense really stand tall without Coach Prime at the helm? That tension made the whole night feel even bigger. The hype from fans and celebrities was wild, and one quick scroll online made it clear people weren't casually watching. They were glued to every snap. The energy was moving like a playoff game, even though it was preseason. Dez Bryant blasted out, "Let's go, Shedeur Sanders," and Reggie Bush dropped, "Give the people what they want."
Game was in Carolina. The fact that in a preseason opener, you could have a 5th-round draft pick who, when he makes a completion, you can cut away every time to different groups of people in the stands wearing his jersey. His NFL jersey, not the Colorado jersey. Wearing a number 12 Cleveland Browns jersey. That is something we rarely see.
Those posts alone had timelines lighting up. Fans were saying stuff like, "We will all be tuned in," and calling it the most watched preseason game ever. And these weren't just Browns fans talking. The excitement stretched across the whole country. And then even LeBron James jumped into the mix. He posted, "That young man looking good out there. Keep going up. Head down on the grind and head high to the most high. When the king of the city co-signs your debut, that means the world noticed instantly." That's superstar level validation before Shedeur has even taken a regular season snap. But the coldest twist in all of this? Shedeur wasn't satisfied with any of it. After throwing 2 touchdowns and helping lock down the win, he still said he didn't feel sharp and that he should have been cleaner out there. That wasn't fake humility. That was a real competitor talking. Someone who understands this was only chapter 1 and the job is far from finished. While everyone else was celebrating the moment, he was already thinking about what needed tightening next. That's real championship DNA right in front of us, showing up when cameras aren't chasing him. And the on-field performance, pure poise under pressure. His first touchdown was a 7-yard laser to Caden Davis, sliding perfectly between 2 defenders like a movie scene where everything freezes except the main character. It didn't just look NFL ready, it looked NFL elite.
Got pockets of finding my rhythm, and I got to get into that quicker, regardless of anything. But overall, I feel like me out there, and I couldn't do it, of course, without the time. I couldn't do it without the play calling. I couldn't do it without anything. So I'm just thankful to even be able to have, the joy of just being on the field overall, then carrying the responsibility of doing the right thing. So that's 2 badges under my belt already, that I got out there. I feel like we operated the huddle really, really good. So it's just the small details that of course we practice on and we talk about. And I'll say, of course, towards the end, I'll say we got a little sloppy and we overall going to finish it up, and that's going to be a point of emphasis going into this.
You can bet a lot of scouts who doubted him were shifting in their seats watching that throw. His second touchdown was a low 12-yard dart, delivered exactly where the ball had to be with zero margin for error. That's veteran placement coming from a rookie who was drafted 144th. Shedeur wrapped up his night by steering a third touchdown drive in the third quarter, and by then every set of eyes in the stadium and every living room watching from across the country was locked onto him. The former Colorado standout put together such a polished performance that insiders were reportedly stunned at how clean his game looked. It's early, but the shock was real. People weren't expecting that level of command so quickly, especially from a player the league had let slide round after round. A high-ranking AFC North executive even got a text during the game asking about the Browns rookie who was once projected as a first-round lock. But Shedeur Sanders didn't get that day 1 or day 2 call, and analysts were scrambling to understand how so many teams ignored him on national TV like they weren't watching the same film as everyone else. By Saturday, Cleveland finally grabbed him with the 6th pick of the 5th round, 144th overall. And that moment already feels like a franchise-shifting decision. Stephen A. Smith went off during the draft, calling his slide a damn disgrace and shouting, "How in the hell is Shaw not off the board yet?" He even compared the situation to Kaepernick being pushed aside, calling it a disgrace again.
That's the football world in his NFL debut. He went 14-23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, and bettors have taken notice. In the past 7 days, Shedeur is the most bet player by handle to win Offensive Rookie of the Year with 23% of the money. He's the second most bet player by tickets with 15% of the bets.
Skip Bayless wasn't any quieter. After one preseason performance, he said every team that passed on Shedeur looked flat-out foolish. And now, after just one night of work, Shedeur Sanders already has people questioning every scouting department that brushed him aside like he was a gamble instead of a legit talent. Maybe some teams didn't think he was first-round material, but there's no universe where his skill set should have lasted that long in the draft. The numbers don't lie. Most preseason games barely get a second look, but this one felt like someone dropped a full-on Super Bowl right in the middle of August. The energy around a game that didn't even count was straight up wild, and the reason was simple. Shedeur Sanders turned into a symbol of betting on yourself when everybody else leaves you out of the conversation. The massive viewership wasn't some random curiosity. It was proof that people who watched him at Colorado rebuild the program and fans from Jackson State who saw him dominate without needing extra flash all showed up for him again. They came because they knew what he brought to the field, and they weren't going to miss this moment. Shedeur showed that same steady mindset he always carries, saying, "I'm still the same guy," staying focused on preparation instead of the noise around him. That attitude is why people trust him and why his debut hit so hard.
I said before last college season started that Shedeur Sanders should go number 1 overall. It was either he or Travis, 1, 2, 2, 1, and I would go every time with the quarterback because he is the quarterback. He is him. He is the son of the greatest cornerback and, to me, the greatest athlete ever. Greatness flows through his veins, and I said it all year long. He should go 1 in the draft ahead.
And here's the real twist. This is only the beginning. It might be preseason, but one huge night like this can flip the entire Browns quarterback conversation before the real games even start. With the veteran depth shaken by injuries, Shedeur suddenly has a rare chance to claim his spot early, something most rookies don't get until year 2 or year 3. That kind of attention before a single official snap is the type of moment that launches a full career. Cleveland is going to be careful with him during preseason, but they already know exactly what they're holding. Shedeur Sanders isn't some regular rookie. He's a ratings magnet, a full storyline, and a quarterback whose name alone can pull millions of fans to the screen with zero effort. For the first time in a long time, Cleveland has something they've never had before. A player who grabs the entire football world at once. And trust this, those numbers won't be the last time we see a surge like that tied to Shedeur. Honestly, 2.2 million viewers might just be the warm-up act. Shedeur Sanders made the whole NFL look like a line of doubters who misread the entire situation. And those 2.237 million people who tuned in watched him prove it live with every throw and every decision.
About like the business side of it, he gets a percentage of every one of his jersey sales.
Oh yeah,
but everybody buying them jerseys. And did y'all see the price of tickets for that preseason game after he announced that he was gonna be the starter?
Crazy.
Right on the shipment from $12 to $150.
And you can say it's preseason all you want to. NFL fans do not care about that. They locked in, bro. NFL fans different.
I'm just proud that he went out there and performed. He had a good game.
The clause is called prime equity. This clause gives Sanders a percentage of revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, and promotions linked to his name and likeness.
And they got NIL in the NFL.
He's too smart.
Yeah, that's why he got picked so far back, because apparently his agents would want.
They watched the start of something real. They watched a 5th-round pick perform with the calm and polish of a first-round star. They watched the league get hit with a reality check, so sharp, it felt like it needed a warning label. People said he wasn't ready. Critics said he couldn't handle the heat. Executives decided he wasn't worth a first-round pick. And Shedeur didn't argue with any of them. No replies, no back and forth, nothing. He stepped onto that field in Charlotte and let every throw do the talking for him. This is what happens when 2.2 million people decide they want the truth, straight from the field instead of from social media debates. Shedeur turned a preseason matchup that wasn't supposed to mean anything into must-see television, and he did it the only way he knows how, by showing exactly who he is, the truth. If you want more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and see you on the next one.